Good evening, everybody. How is everyone today? Hope you're all been good. Hope you all have been having a good weekend so far. I've literally been spending most of today just playing the Sonic Racing Crossworlds open network test beta thingy, because I was curious. Hi Mankey, how you doing? Yeah, I've essentially been, apart from doing a smidge of Genshin grinding, yeah, I've mainly been checking out the Sonic Racing Crossworlds network test thing, because I was extremely curious about it. Doing fine, just existing today. How are you? Good. I've been playing a ton of the Sonic Racing open network test, and holy crap, I forget just how much I take to a duck to water when it comes to racing games. Like, kart racers specifically. Because within like 5 minutes, I already got the hang of it. But then again, I do have a fair bit of experience with a lot of the more modern Sonic Racing games. Because if you think about it, the only one out of the Sumo Digital Sonic Racing games I didn't play was Team Sonic Racing. So I probably already have a lot of muscle memory from All Stars Transform. I hope it does better than what Nintendo is doing with Mario Kart. Honestly, from what I've played, it's actually very solid. I don't think it'll outsell Mario Kart World, because Mario Kart World literally sold consoles. And it's one of those game series that's going to be ridiculously hard to actually dethrone. But Sonic Racing Crossworlds, I feel, oh yeah, not going to outsell it for sure. Yep. But I think it's definitely, I think it might have some effect and might as we say, light a bit of a fire up Nintendo's arse. It might do, it might not do, but I do think it is going to maybe challenge it in terms of quality. Because for one thing, the Crossworlds are an infinitely better executed looking mechanic. That's what I'm hopeful. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, just from the sort of just watching videos about it, the Crossworlds feel like a substantially more polished and better implemented gimmick than the intermissions seem to be in Mario Kart World. Now, bear in mind I haven't played Mario Kart World, I don't even own a Switch 2 yet. So I've been playing the network test on PS5 actually. Because honestly, I play a lot on my PS5 nowadays. Well, I still need to... Oh, I still have a fair bit of backlog on both. Because I think my PS5 backlog is Armored Core 6, and Astrobot. Yeah, I have very varying taste in video games, and I think my Switch backlog is Xenoblade X Definitive Edition and actually being one of the games of the Castlevania Advance Collection. I was not thinking about my backlog a long time ago. I usually don't think too much about my backlog, but it seems like at the moment it's definitely something that's kind of been on my mind. Well, with Xenoblade X Definitive Edition, it's more I want to get through the Xenoblade X stuff to get to the new stuff, cause I have quite fond memories of the original, and I really want to see how they was. At this point, it's probably 3 years worth of content at this point. But that's what happens when you collect retro games as a hobby. Oh yeah, like. Well, in terms of my quote-unquote retro games, apart from the Advanced trilogies, the Castlevania Advanced trilogy, the only other backlog I really have is like a couple of Wii games. Specifically the Boom Blocks games. Yeah, anyone remember those ones? That weird time where EA just randomly lets fucking Steven Spielberg direct video games? I used to spend goddamn... He did. Yeah, I used to spend hours in the level editor in the second one, in Bash Party, I think it's called. Just sorting about and that. Those were fun days. Well, that does remind me of some other games I wouldn't mind restreaming a playthrough of. Specifically like the Mario Galaxy games. Those were fun the first time through. But I kind of want to go back and stream new playthroughs of them just to see how they are. Good games? Oh yeah, they definitely are. Well, personally, I kind of see both Galaxy games as equal in my eyes. I wouldn't say one is inherently better over the other, because they both have strong points, but they both have flaws. Like, It's actually very interesting to pick apart what issues each of them have. Like, Galaxy 1, one of my biggest problems there is the controls. They seem rather slippery. But my issues with the second one are how strict some of the star requirements felt. Like, it felt like you had to get nearly all stars in a particular quote-unquote world in order to do the Bowser or Bowser Jr. fight. Well, that's something I actually quite liked that the second one did. It orientated between, well, each end of world boss orientated between you fighting Bowser Jr. and Bowser. Well, I do think the Bowser fights in the first Mario Galaxy were a lot better. Especially the last one. The last one's straight up a gauntlet. Oh, straight up a bit of a endurance. And I kinda liked that. For a final boss. Like, it's Bowser really pulling out every ounce of energy he can to beat you. And that feels very apt for a final boss. Not like Galaxy 2's final boss, where it's just same length as the other Bowser fights, and that weird phase where you're just ground pounding the meteors into him. Which, yeah, was a bit brain dead. Well, one thing I did like in Galaxy 2 was Yoshi. Like, I think Yoshi was a very good addition, considering... Yeah, I kinda don't remember much Galaxy 2 boss-wise. I remember the final Bowser Jr. fight, the giant tower thing, but that's cause literally every countdown artist has covered that one. New gameplay though was really good. Oh yeah, like I said, Galaxy 2 feels a lot tighter in terms of controls. And that's always a good thing. Think of... Oh yeah, tower fight where you can cheese it with Yoshi. No, you actually couldn't bring Yoshi into that fight. You had... It was the one where you had to use the Cloud Flower to get up to his cockpit, which every time you did the hit, the tower would get taller and taller each time, and there would be like firebars and bullet bills coming after you, so you had to be careful with where you actually place your clouds so that they didn't get destroyed or something like that. I can't remember the details entirely. Think about something else. I remember where you could ground pound cancel and just land where you need to be. Was that a thing in Galaxy 2? I know that's a bit of a thing in Odyssey. Anywho, I've got the game loaded up now. Yeah, I loaded it up whilst we were having a bit of a chat. Who knows? Yeah, and my memory ain't the most, reliable. Just on account of... It just ain't. I can either remember bloody everything, or remember sod all. Well, I don't know what part of my brain causes that one. If it's just... Need help grinding anything, or is it just talismans? Honestly, it's just grinding whatever. I'm not really confident enough to take on the 9-star stuff. I'm not one of those people that will bust their arse off in a extremely difficult hunt just for min-maxing, cause I'm gonna let you all into a secret. Well, actually it's not really much of a secret. I don't min-max. like at all. Like Genshin, most of my DPSs are still at 80 out of 80. That's the sort of level of I don't min-max I am. But I do want to try and knock out some armor sets if I can. Because, well, just to give myself some options, and I just really fancy grinding today. I see it. Been playing Mon Hun for about 10 years, so damage go up and don't mind being one shot. Fair enough. What one did you start with then? Because I'm similar in years as a hunter. Because I started with 3 Ultimate myself. Specifically the 3DS version. That was my first Monster Hunter game. So I was one of those people that was incredibly happy when Legiacrus came back. Now we just need Bacadios, and I'm all set. No, seriously, please bring back Bacadios. We need more blast options. I started with 4U, then bounced around to every game after. Ah, 4U was a good one. I remember thinking, better way to put it, 3U was the game I started with, 4U was when I really started to fall in love with Monster Hunter. Generations I didn't particularly care for too much. I didn't particularly like the Hunter arts. I didn't think they were massively well executed. So I didn't really bother with Genu, because at that point Weld was already out. I didn't get Weld until Iceborne came out. I think it depends on the weapons at times. Oh yeah, like back in 3U I was maining Hammer. In 4U I switched over to Switch Axe. And then from Weld onwards, I stuck with Switch Axe a fair bit in Weld, but that's where I really started to learn the other weapon types for the most part. And then it wasn't really till late, well, just before I fell off Iceborne, because I didn't do Alatreon onwards. First time through Genu, I was doing Adept SNS, which kind of worked, but then I did it because I just got off a Dark Souls high. Fair enough. I don't use combat element, do I? Yeah, that's not a skill I really make use of, Tim. I have enough for the legs. Might as well finish that though. Oh. Because I had the gem. It's not as bad as bloody Zoshia, where I end up with a metric shite ton of the damn things. Seriously, I was doing a bit of off-stream, well, a bit of grinding the other day. Not yesterday, but I think the day before that, I finished grinding up the final upgrade for the Zolshia SNS, and I, well, kept getting them. Like, seriously, the Zolshia gems just magnetized my head or something.
How can I serve?
Definitely struggling to think of what else to grind. Oh yeah, and what's up with this bollocks, Capcom? You need to craft the full set of Lagiacrus gear. 3 fucking sapphires. God damn. And it's not like even when fighting tempered Lagiacrus they're a common drop either. Because they're, well, gems. Now this is just as bad. The centers are basically the Sergio's version of a gem. You know, I haven't actually fought Sergio's that much. In this game. Legit trying to figure out what I want to grind. I know I wanna start jumping into making stuff from a second weapon type. He becomes very common fight if you're trying to get talisman. Wait for like wait for tempered? I can't actually do tempered, Steve. Like, straight up, I have legitimate trouble with it. What HR are you on? 90, I think it said. Yeah, HR 90. Okay, you can't even grind talismans. Yeah, because they put that behind a HR 100, which is, I gotta admit, a bit weird. But I suppose if you're seriously thinking about going for those talismans, it's more because you're wanting to min-max more than anything else. Oh yeah, I remember them saying that Hammer got a bit of an upgrade in Title Update 2. No, Title Update 2.5, I think we should be calling it. God, why does that look so cool? Oh yeah, one monster I think is goated to farm the weapons from. Rathian, not Rathalos. I mean, yeah, I would pop off if I got a Master's Touch level 3 offensive guard talisman. That is fair enough. Then again, at least it's not Monster Hunter World Master's Touch. Now that shit was busted. Like, gold 3-piece Teostra, 2-piece Velkhana. You got yourself an elemental set for literally every occasion. It looked pretty too. That's a cube. Yeah, it makes sense it got nerfed, but they murdered it in Rise. Yeah, cause didn't they bump it down to about 80%? I still remember Rise quite vividly. Now, Rise was 60%. Really? I thought it was 80. Like, I thought it was 80 at max level. I might be wrong, but I remember it being 80. What other weapons do I use? Because I use quite a few. Oh, whilst I'm typically a sword and shield main nowadays, I do still use quite a few different weapons. Not so much in Wilds, because Hunter Symbol 3s are a bastard to farm. And I only really use Artians to fill in gaps in sort of weapon trees that I don't like the options for. That's another one. Weapon I like using. Insect glaive. Well, some people do say it's not that powerful. Well, the Zolchia one looks sick. Oh, yeah, it was 80% Rise. For some reason I remember not liking it Rise. Fair enough. I just thought this one looked really cool. The Seregios insect glaive. Well, I don't typically use Seregios weapons because I tend to just use element. Well, I tend to just use element weapons. I'm really at a loss to actually what to grind for. I am thinking switch axe though, cause I have a bit of a soft spot for it. Well,
You have any requests?
maybe I could go for farm up both switch axes and hammers. Cause I want to get better with trying to get offset attacks. But I remember specifically both hammer and switch axe have have offsets. Hell, if I remember, hammer actually they made it so that the offset. Well, I think the Ghost Wing actually is an offset now. I might be misremembering it. Yep, definitely going with hammers.
A sage.
Watch this.
Luckily, I can make a lot of the first upgrades for hammers. Because
Should I begin?
I definitely got through a good few Lagoicus, Mizus, Raphios, well, Raphalos,
A sage.
and a good couple of those years.
Can I proceed?
Watch this.
Well, I will say one thing that feels very weird with Rise. No, with Wilds, I mean. Remember the games properly, Cyber. And that is the fact that white sharpness is a prevalent part of high rank weapons. Like, in previous games, you were very... Well, it was very rare for a high rank weapon at their full upgrade, prior to master rank, to actually have white sharpness. But now we're having it every other... well, nearly every weapon. And it feels weird to have a weapon that don't have white sharpness. That probably means purple sharpness might be a lot more common with... Hi Novum, how you doing? See, the only thing about the Jindahad hammer is that it doesn't have a lot of whites, but good lord does it have a lot of ice. Like, 500's nothing to sniff at. That's like Kirin weapon levels of element. Since I know nothing about Monster Hunter, I will be lurking. Fair enough. The Guardian Rathlos weapons are cool, but I don't really use them. Just cause I prefer normal Rathlos weapons, cause... Yeah, here's Master Touch. Yeah, it's 80% in this game as well. But luckily it's not like, well, there's only one level of it, rather than in Rise where it was, you had 3 levels of it, with level 3 being the 8%, and in World it was a set bonus.
A sage
Watch this.
should.
Right. Well, that gives us something to go after now. And some of it's going to involve hunts. Oh yeah, with how the fights slowly keep getting harder and harder, weapons will need to get better. However, since Capcom still hasn't made better weapons by now, it's probably a sign for things to come with how much harder fights will become. Yeah. I think I was watching a video. I think it was a Rage Gaming videos video. And that was talking about how the difficulty of Wilds is starting to escalate to a point where
Another satisfied.
it's getting close to what's it levels, master rank levels or something like that. If one you can pass over lobby code and I can help, if you're okay with it, of course. No, I should be fine for now, but if I get really stuck on something, I should be fine. But thank you for offering.
See you again,
What
Hunter.
one do I want to tackle first? Oh yeah, that's fine, just 5 in one play. Fair enough. I think it displays whenever I pause the game anyway. Do I want to either knock out some Rathlos or go F it and go for the laggy gem. You know what? I'm going sod it and going for the laggy gem. Right. Where is my... Oh yeah, I do use a Artian heavy bow gun for my secondary nowadays. It's so I don't have to piss about with it too much. Yeah, that'll do. Right. Do I have any... No, I do not actually have any tempered laggy ones. Well, investigations it is. Because they're... Yeah, I do tend to just use the SOS system. It's one of those systems that is a absolute godsend for people like me who don't have people to really play with. Ah, bollocks. Yeah, it's... Oh, that's a free, And it's full. Well, that one don't seem too bad. Yeah, I used to do SOS a lot back then. Exactly.
Alright, let me know.
It's very, very useful. Is this the one that sort of getting errors? I think it might have been. Yeah, SOS flares are... Well, the SOS system is a godsend. Trying to think...
Alright, let me know if you change your mind.
Like there.
Alright, let me know if you change your mind.
Oh shit, I remember something I wanted to check out first. The... What's it? The, event quest. I knew there was something I was forgetting about. Yeah, I wanted to actually check out the, event quest first. The double Gravios one? What's Gravios weak to, by the way? Not something I fight particularly much. Water! Yeah. Sorry for the whiplash in objectives. I kind of... Oh yeah, that fight was something. Oh, they've actually, done it. Yeah, I can imagine it would be pretty, crazy with two tempered Gravios. But apparently you can get, like, Hunter Symbol Freeze out of it. So it seems like it might be useful to do, even if you don't actually use the SNS or longsword.
Can't move!
No worries. This is it.
Okay. Oh, Jesus! Well, try and do rock bears and you bounce rock and don't run mines, eh? Usual Gravios experience. I knew I should have made myself a gun. Holy bollocks, what have I got myself into? Okay, this is, something. Well, luckily I can block that. I have a shield. Your laser beams are invalid. Is my eyes playing tricks on me, or is the gameplay view actually glitching out a little bit? It might just be the streaming software forking up a little bit mine. Okay, might be worth it not to actually block that attack and instead just get the hell out of dodge. Ow. Okay. How should we go about this? Oh shit. Well, shit. Damn, you weren't kidding. It is, an experience and a half.
I'm glad you're all right. Take a second to restock your supplies before heading out, okay?
I bet you would have quite a bit of luck if you use something like gun lance as gun launch shelling doesn't take hardness into account,
Yeah.
to my knowledge. Alright. Well, I do think shooting type weapons don't really, well, if I remember, shot type damage don't actually do that much against Gravios.
You have everything? A supply shipment's come in. Find something useful.
See, this is probably the smarter play, just actually try and separate the two as much as possible. Sometimes divide and conquering is probably the better idea. Yes, I just perfect guarded a roar. That is something I just have a bit of a habit of doing for some reason. And that's why you try to keep the two separate. I was about to say, is it about to roll? Luckily, the Mizutsune SNS has a fair bit of white sharpness. Ow, that was low. But I think it does bounce off when you're at blue. Only on the wings, it seems like... Oh, that was close. Wrong button. Damn. Yeah, we're doing this one and then we're gonna go back to our grinding. Because, well, I just wanted to check it out. And boy, this quest be meaty. Oh shit, wasn't paying attention. Beep. Over here, big boy. There we go. And up and over. Now that should make it a bit more manageable again. I should have taken the chance to actually sharpen my weapon, but hey ho. Yeah, once you get that belly exposed, then you get to do the big damage. Okay. Oi, hi, hi. A little close there, buddy. Yeah, I swear the game view is actually glitching out a little bit. Might not be your end though, it could just literally be the actual display on the streaming software glitching out. You never know of these things, technology is a fickle thing. Well, at least that only does like 2 ticks of damage. If it was 3 or more, then... ouch! At least that times you halfway across the map. Red. Ow! That hit was worth it to separate them. Yeah, I can see what you mean about needing my design for that. Okay, I want to see just how useful this is now that the if I aim at the belly specifically, I can get some good damage out of this. Which isn't that hard. It's quite a big target. Fucking hell, I saw my life flash before my eyes again. Uh-oh. And of course it goes into the path of the other Gravios.
I set a bomb.
This is also no short quest either. Gravios are kind of health sponges. Not as bad as Black Gravios. That thing was sodding ridiculous. Oh yeah, once parts are broken, this thing really can pump out some good deeps. It would help if the other one didn't just constantly kick me in the backside whilst I'm doing it. And now they're over now the arena. Smaller armors to angry tempered Gravios. Ouch. Ouch. I got some. Can I please stop having my life flash before my eyes every 2 bloody seconds?
Bomb set. Nice.
It's bad enough that the capture card seems to be glitching out a little bit. Oh nice, I got the medulla. Gonna need to switch back to the S&S first so that I can break back those hard bits. Ouch. I was asleep. Bombs. Do I have any? Yes, do I? Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I set a bomb. Bomb set.
Nice. See, the good thing about those wake-up hits nowadays, involving bombs, the bombs actually fling you way back, which probably allows you to maybe reposition a little bit. Otherwise, men once said, you are not truly alive if you ain't almost died. Yeah, but he's never had. Yeah, but someone tells me he never thought to tempered Gravios in an enclosed space. And if you do, and if you did, that's one hell of a way to live. I swear, Gravios speed could probably put a dent in an AC. Oh, speaking of Ace, speaking of Armored Core, That's just reminding me of something I very much. So it was from Starship Troopers? No, AC Armored Core. That kind of reminds me of something I've actually noted about Armored Core compared to other mechs in video games. And that is Armored Core's actually the actual mechs Armored Cores. The actual mechs called Armored Cores. I was saying about the quote. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't actually watched Starship Troopers. I forgot Gravios does the fleet thing. Yeah. But yeah, what was it? Oh yeah, Armored Cores. One thing I've noticed about them is that in terms of size, they actually dwarf. They can actually dwarf a lot of other video game mechs. My point of reference being scales from Xenoblade X and arsenals from the first Daemon X Machina. So excited about the new one next week. Yeah, whereas as far as I'm aware, in terms of scale, scales and arsenals seem very similar. As in about the size of a house. Or just over that. But it does seem like Armored Cores, or ACs, might be nearly twice that, depending on how they're composed. Like, tank ACs might come to a similar height. It was one of those thoughts that was sort of brought on by a video. I think it was one about the absolute ridiculous scale and sizes of things in Armored Core. Because the typical Armored Core is about, what, like 10 meters? Or something like that? No, I think it's something like 10 foot. I can't remember the specifics, but it was like could easily reach about compared to some of the level geometry in the game in AC6. It could come up to about the 3rd floor of a apartment building type deal. Up to a 2nd, 3rd floor of an apartment building. Which I'll say is roughly about twice the size of a skeleton or an arsenal, in my opinion. But yeah, the video was actually pretty interesting. I can't remember who it's by. The video itself is just utterly fascinating. Because whereas arsenals are fucking huge, there are stuff that in Armored Core 6 that you fight that completely dwarf it. Think how big stuff like that looks to an average human. Average-sized human. It's just insane to think about. Well, that's also kind of reminded me about another channel. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Ow. Fuck. That was close. I was trying to grab that. Again, explosion damage does not care about part hardness. It does fixed damage regardless. The only things it's affected by is the food skill that increases artillery shelling, gun lance shelling damage, and the artillery skill. I don't think it's even affected by raw attack to a degree. I might be wrong. I know. Gun lance ain't something I have had that much experience of. Uh-oh. But I did like how I do like how it played in this game. Right? I know, it's got a really nice combo that is good for people who do both shelling and normal attacks with the gun lance. Well, oh, it died anyway. Oh, I don't really bother with event quests too much, just in general. But this one seemed, well, had a reward that interested me, and overall just seemed kind of interesting. You do get hunter symbol freeze out of this. You do. Okay. But the only issue is that hunter symbol free drop rate. One of those was a miniature. Was a mini one? Huh. One pickaxe. God, that actually gives me such bloody flashbacks, cause oh, you actually get art rarity 8 iron stuff too. That was rather rough, I'm not gonna lie. Like, seriously. What the damn? Right. Now back to what I was originally trying to do. Gaiacrus. Tempered if I can. Not that one. Hell to the no on that one. Cause,
let me know if you change your mind.
I'm not about to follow a, tempered Legiacrus up with a... What's it? Do I have any tempered Legiacrus quests? No, I don't. I haven't... Why do I have so many ones that involve yeah, I have a lot of just random ass ones. That one's nice for the hunter symbol 2s. Okay, we're in. And this one's a guaranteed gem, so should be good. But I remember this one's a bit of a bugger with a shield. Okay.
Commencing quest now. Are you prepared?
I'll see you back at camp.
They don't have, kinda wish it used your camps. Rather than the hosts. Just cause that would just make my life 1,000 times easier with Lagiacrus, cause... Oh, and there's a Tempered Arc flying around too. Wonderful. But yeah, with Lagiacrus, if you can get campsite in area 17, that makes your life going to and fro a lot easier. Because it's just off of this particular area. Yeah, you see that little cubby hole up here on the minimap? That's where the Area 17 camp is, and it is a bit of a godsend. Huh. That's the second Lance boy we've seen today. As someone who does like Lance and used to play quite a bit of it, I always appreciate it. Well, I'm not as scared of Tempered Lagiacrus as I used to be, cause yeah, 17 Thunder Resistance will do that to a guy. Ah, that was beautiful. Oh, I won't stop it from murking you. That's the only thing. What? Did I just perfect guard both of those? And of course, immediately after, I get fucking annihilated. God damn it.
We've been given more supplies. Check your sacred's pouch.
Exactly. I think it heard me gloating. And didn't exactly he didn't exactly take kindly to it. that's
Thanks. That helped.
That's completely thrown my train of thought now. Remind me to clip that and turn it into a short for next week. Yeah, I know what's the stream clip short for next week. Cause that was actually bloody hilarious. Oh great, the Argval's here. Fantastic. Oh no. I love how my survival instinct is just to turtle up. And we're down to the last feint already. This is going well. See, this is why I'm not exactly sold on the idea of 9-star monsters. Or 9-star versions of tempered monsters, just cause if 8 stars kill you this quickly, what's 9 stars like? One thing I didn't like about tempered monsters in World was that once you got to Iceborne, they could just, well, granted this is more to do with Nightshade, tempered Nightshade Palomu, cause fuck that fight. And fuck that damn urgent. Ow. Well, it's still got it. Yeah, this is the fight that actually got me to rejig my mix set into something with a bit of defense into it. Well, I say defense, but the only defensive skill in this set is Divine Blessing level 3. And it does feel a bit nerfed compared to Rise, I will admit. Doesn't seem to go off as much.
Thanks. That helped.
Shit, I completely forgot that you didn't guard that. Unless you have the actual guard skill. But that's not a hard fix. I have. Where is it? Guard up. And no, it wasn't guard up I wanted. It was just plain old. Oh shit! Yeah, that's on the Artian weapon. I forgot I have that on the Artian weapon. Should really find something to put into here as well. Shame there isn't a. Oh no way, but there is. Okay. Oh, it's a one thing skill. Okay. That's helpful to know. Anywho, let's try that again. Hang on. Did the time limit say 25 minutes on that one? Damn, I didn't think they could go that low. I thought the lowest they could go was,
Let's have another hunt with no surprises today.
Oh, thank God they have Area 17 camp. It's not even Area 17, is it? It does look like there's a Tempered Duno running around here too. So that's a possible terraform. No, I know it is. It's in its little special area. Because it has a special little area that only it can go to. And that's what connects it to the underground bit, because half of that particular its special area is the underwater bit.
I gathered some materials too. Check your field pouch.
See, we got 2 jewel blades and a hunting horn. Okay. Jewel blades got their perfect dodge thing, and hunting horns are hunting horns. Okay. Hey. Oh. I love Ravenheart. Oh, I kinda wish I had a bit of a quicker reload on this thing. Yeah, this is why I made this heavy bow gun. Ow. Right, remember to maybe use thin camo whenever. Oh, it's not enraged. It only dashes twice when it's enraged. Okay. Glavner situation then. Yeah. Okay, let me explain why I call that a Glavner situation. Glavnus will slam its tail blade down once when it's not enraged, and twice when it is enraged. And that's where I notice that some monsters will do an attack more than once in a row if they're enraged. So I call it a Glavner situation. Because I'm always going to attribute that, me finding out about that mechanic, to Glavnus. Also, Glavnus did the Fire T-Rex thing better than Anjanath, and I will die on this hill. Mostly because I do not like Anjanath. It's one of those monsters I've never cared for. No, I'm not kidding. I really never did care too much about Glavnus. Not about Anjanath, I mean. I didn't particularly like the Glavnus subspecies either. From Iceborne, acidic Glavnus. Oh, it's over there. Acidic Glavnus was a pretty weak fight. I just found it more annoying than it. I think that's one of my issues with World and Iceborne in general. It had a lot of annoying fights. If I'm honest. Acidic Glavnus. Viper Toby Kadachi was one of the biggest offenders of that when I found that in fight so goddamn annoying. It's to the point where I'm glad it never came back for Sunbreak. because I don't mind monsters that I don't mind monsters that had more than one status effect, but it was a incredibly fast monster that had more than one status effect.
I have no doubt in your skills, Hunter.
Most of the fights
Maybe we should try
are
preparing
just Capcom not having enough people with resources to make new fights or bring new monsters and just recolor fights with some changes. Oh yeah. I think one of the biggest offenders of that, Azuraphlos Pink Rathian. Granted, I have a bit of a vendetta against Pink Rathians anyway,
Everyone in the village said they can help too.
because they were probably one of the first annoying fights I ever came across in a Monster Hunter game. I savoured my vengeance against Pink Rathians in World.
Anything you like. Have at ya. Here. It's all you.
And I'm not kidding. It felt so cathartic to make a Pink Rathian not poison stuff
Here.
with its tail once it was severed.
All right. Good seeing you.
I always hated that bloody somersault move. And then they decided to give it to normal Rathian. At least it don't spam the bloody thing, like Pink Rathian did.
Wow, we sure got here fast.
And Azuraphlos was Azuraphlos, I suppose. It was just a Rathlos but blue. It is literally the Monster Hunter version of when they just recolor a monster sprite in or model in Dragon Quest to quote unquote create a new monster.
Yeah.
With some of them. At least with Silver Rathlos and Gold Rathian. But I did try to add something more onto them with the Hellfire thing. That felt like a sort of hard nut version of Rathlos, which, yeah, for more endgamey stuff, don't mind.
Answer
That was
questions
it.
now. Are you prepared?
Oh, that's easy.
We received supply items. Don't let them go to waste.
Okay. Oh shit. Oh, double shit. Well, at least. That was one hell of a time for it to target me over the guy with one health that was about to die. Okay, that was a bit. Okay, that was a bit too close. yeah, for blocking both of those, you need to do that with your camera. You need to use the monster focusing button. Monster have the camera focus on it button. To be able to block both those. And you need max card as well to do it. Otherwise, you will get hit by it. I should probably heal. You can't be too careful against these high tier tempers. These tier 3 tempered monsters. See, you know what annoys me about a lot of them? I was fine with how they were before they beefed up the difficulty of them. Like the 7-star ones for the Apexes. I didn't mind that. They felt a lot more doable. But those ones aren't as common. As the 8 and 8-star ones, and I can imagine they're going to be even rarer when I unlock the 9-star temples. What the hell is it? It's getting in a fight with the 8 stars aren't too bad to find after unlocking 9 star. That's good. But I can imagine the 7-star ones might be a bit more tricky. I don't know. A 7-star one? Yeah, a little bit. Which, if I'm completely honest, that should kind of be the other way around. The easier one should be a bit more common, whilst the 9-star one should be technically the rarest of the bunch, but not by much. So that people who want to go through those challenges don't have to spend tons and tons of hunt points continuously resting to have one show up. Or there should be an optional quest for each of the 9-star versions of those hunts. Just in case they do have trouble finding them. Oh right, I forget, Yang, Cuckoo's travel in packs now. You'll have to get used to this. Still a bit weirded out by that, but I hope. Good, I am glad I have... Ow! Oh, bollocks. Dang it. And this is why I don't like fighting the fighting the tempered ones. I might deny Star Hunt's kind of rare by making rewards mostly super mid and hard. It's hard to find a hunt that gives a lot of talisman. Yeah, but that's the nature of RNG for you. Of having RNG related stuff in a hunt like that. Ah. It's the same with other games and such. Trying to think of an example off the top of my head where RNG plays way too much of a role in part of that grinding. Best example I can think of is Genshin. Yada, Capcom should have made it where everyone is not resting all the time for their hunts. Exactly. Like, let the people who want the easier stuff have better access to said easier stuff, and let people who want better access to their harder stuff have better access to their harder stuff. Like, it wouldn't be too complicated to turn up the spawn rate for 7-star tempered monsters. And it's not gonna kill them to put up optional quests for the 9-star tempered monsters. This is why I preferred the anomaly investigations. Because it didn't matter what tier said monster was. The new mechanics still made... the afflicted mechanics still made the fight interesting. Or makes even the most... or even makes stuff like Great Woggy interesting. I don't have any...
Of course. Come back anytime.
Probably Legiacrus investigate. Well, I'm grinding something before the end of the stream. So, sod it, I'm fighting Athlos. Luckily, it A, shouldn't take long, it's a 6-star one, and B, I just happen to have an investigation that gives me the gem. Just so we can say that I actually did complete more than one hunt today. That's another thing that actually annoys me about the 8-star... about even the 8-star tempered monsters. There's a high chance of failure with them. Whereas with... not the 7-star ones... you never really had that problem. It was a bit more doable for randoms.
Yeah, I've only gotten a single hunt, but gave me 20 talisman, and I haven't seen it since. Damn, 20? Whoever came across the back quest hit the goddamn motherload. Yeah, that's the thing to note about Monster Hunter. Not all of it. Yeah, I'd be lying if I didn't say that I did most of my 9-star hunts solo because of skill gaps. Exactly. But a lot of people aren't confident in their ability to do even the 7-star one solo. But yeah, the 7-star ones, yeah, I think are perfect for groups of randoms, because it's still harder than the normal hunt, but it's not the you're going to get one shot every 5 seconds type hard. And plus with support hunters, they not only have output comparable to maybe a slightly built player, but they don't take up a cart when they go down. Okay, it does 3 of those when you mage. Got it. Yeah. So yeah, the TLDR on the whole difficulty thing is... maybe I'm getting out of touch here about yeah, still 7 and 8 as easy. I would say that most 8-star hunts are just the AT hunts with less moves but more damage. The old preferred I would prefer Tempers to actually be that. They just have more moves as opposed to just more damage. Why? I would have found that a lot more interesting. One of you fuckers need to leave.
Sorry.
that made life a bit easier. Yeah. I didn't know that 8-star and was as hard as Arch-Tempered. What I would have done then is I perfect guard that without having it in frame somehow. But yeah, what I would do in terms of that is honestly it's just that what I was thinking when I moved from 80 hunts directly to the 8 stars. I would have switched things round on that front. Make tempers like the ATs where they have more moves. And make the ATs like the 8-star tempers where they do more damage. That way, tempered hunts are still meaty and actually a bit more interesting. And maybe have Arch Tempers be like that, but they have the sort of damage and that from 9-star monsters. That way it would A, make Tempered a bit more of an interesting system, that all of them have new moves, and have that be the whole thing they get from surviving so many battles and such, and have Arch Tempered's lore-wise be what happens when the stronger specimen of a particular species becomes a tempered. They just end up hitting really damn hard. Harder than normal tempereds. And they still get to keep their fancy moves. I know, that's how I would maybe think about renovating that system. Yeah, I tend to like going on a bit of a thought experiment with these sort of things. Yeah, this is what happens when your brain just hyperanalyzes video games. You end up actually... I think the hard part is that we're currently in a place where everything, even with the defensive builds, we're almost one-shot the whole time, and not even with Mizu and conversation. Exactly. Some people literally play Monster Hunter not for the challenge, but for the power fantasy. That's a hell of a duel. Guard up and a pointing guard. Not bad. Not bad at all. That's how I started. Oh, what? With the power fantasy side of it. Yeah, that... can't remember exactly how I got into Monster Hunter. I think, knowing me, it was a case of I saw it advertised on telly, thought it looked interesting, and asked for it for my birthday or for Christmas. I think that particular instance it was for my birthday or something. And yeah, it just kind of went from there. Yeah, but with time mattered more to me to become better at the hunt itself, so I grind hunts with no aim. Fair enough. I gotta admit, I do find myself relying a bit too much on aim, but that's cause without it, even in previous Monster Hunter games, I did whiff a fair few of my attacks. It just means that my attacks with it are a bit more on point. But the only place where that isn't an issue for me is bows and bow guns. Because, well, you have to aim to use the damn things in the first place. At least, if you want to use them actually effectively. Oh, we barely made it in this wish list. Eh. That's the 8-star hunts for you. Like I said, I do think if they're dead set on making tempered an in-game system, like, I think there should be a bit of a distinction between endgame and like hardcore challenges and hardcore endgame challenges. Yeah, but yeah, that's why I always end up being the last one in the group that's still playing. Fair enough, sometimes you do have people that will just stop playing a game after a while because they maybe lose interest, or they got into it from a specific content creator, but now that content creator's gone on to different games and they've gone with them, type deal. That's honestly just the nature of playing games, really. That sometimes people do just gravitate away from one game they've been playing for ages to a new game. There are also instances where they gravitate away from a game for a little while and then gravitate back. Again, best example I can think of is me with Genshin, cause I started playing Genshin way back, back in 2.1, so a fair few years ago. But then I stopped, so I played it for about a year and a bit, till about 3 point something, and then I stopped for a couple of years because I got myself really burnt out on it, and I then found myself circling back round to it a couple of months ago when 5.7 started, and I'm having fun with the game again. That's just how it is. We all circle round to new games or circle back round to current games. Well, circle backgrounds to games we did enjoy. Or if you have a game in your backlog, your brain might suddenly remember about that game specifically, and you circle back round to it to finish it. Again, there are whole different reasons why people stop playing a game or come back to a game. Well, I suppose that's kind of one of the benefits of live service games. If someone does stop playing for a year or so, there's a chance that when they come back, enough would have changed and a lot of the problems would have been that they had with the game would have been alleviated. I'm actually gonna put a pin in the game for today, and we're just gonna chat about this for 10-15 minutes or so. But yeah, again, going back to the Genshin, well, example of me stopping playing Genshin and then recently coming back to it, I noticed just how, well, I noticed that some of the things that caused me to be burnt out in the first place, like having to trying to catch up with the story or having to constantly do the dailies and that, when I came back I found out that, well, one is I could just skip through the cutscenes anyway, and that does greatly shorten through it, though Genshin does need a dedicated skip button. I don't care what anyone says on that one. Well, a lot of the Genshin community is in agreement on that one anyway. And in terms of the dailies, you don't actually need to do them, because you can sort of get the daily rewards you'd get from completing your 4 dailies from just doing stuff like story quests or exploration or farming, which eliminated that problem entirely. Yeah. But that's one scenario. You might come back to a live service game and after a couple of years, and the flip side could be true. It could be that it's gotten worse. Like, I stopped playing Destiny 2 a little bit into episode 2 Revenant. After the Final Shape campaign. Well, in that annual cycle. And I haven't gone back to it, but let's just say Bungie doesn't exactly have the greatest rep at the moment, and Destiny 2 ain't in a great space at the moment. To the point where I didn't even bother getting the Edge of Fate expansion, cause I kind of want to see Bungie clean up their act first before me wanting to jump back into Destiny 2. With that one. And there's always the risk of, with a live service game, that by the time you even think about coming back to it, you get a notice about the fact that there's a date for when it shuts down. And at that point you're probably more than likely to go, oh, there's no point coming back to the game then, cause it's shutting down after a couple of months. So I might as well just say, yeah, I had a good time with it, and it was fun whilst it lasted, and just go into another game. But live service games go in EL. Yeah, true. Had that happen a couple of times. I think I've only ever had that happen to me once, and that was a mobile game. Actually, no, I think I had that happen twice. They were both mobile games. But sometimes mobile games go that way anyway. Especially story-driven gacha mobile games and that. They will just maybe think about ending their story, well, EOSing once they've told that story. Both the mobile games essentially did that. They told their story and then shortly after end the service. Which is fair. Once you tell that story in its entirety, what else can you really milk out of it? When Hoyoverse kinda ended their first sort of character arc in Honkai Impact 3rd, they decided to just go, oh, we're following these new characters now, type deal. So, well, the only Hoyoverse game I do play is Genshin Impact. Really? Though doesn't interest me too much because I don't really play turn-based RPGs nowadays. I know. At least outside of Pokemon and such. And the Monster Hunter Stories game. Well, Monster Hunter Stories 2. So excited for the fact that they announced a third one. Well, this is the third protagonist in a row that has a fucking Rathalos as their main monster. I know it's the flagship monster of the franchise, but it's getting a little bit ridiculous at this point. Especially because the plot... yeah. Especially because the plot seems to just fucking mirror some of the plot points the second one had. The whole, oh, this Rathalos is actually fated to bring calamity. But it's actually not. I just hope that isn't like the whole crux of the story. The fact that this time there are technically two Rathalos. And the fact that they were born out of one egg is the moment. And the bit that's foretold to bring calamity or something like that. And your protagonist has one of them. They could do something interesting with that by constantly asking the question, where the fuck is the other Rathalos?
And the fact that they're the only Rathlos sort of in that particular kingdom, cause reasons are shit. Again, kind of reminds me of Stories 2, cause the reason why you didn't see normal Rathlos till post-game is cause they literally all up and piss off. Because of the main antagonist. Still a fun game though. And like I said, I'm very much looking forward to the third one, because it feels like the third one's gonna have a bit more of a mature tone to it. If I'm honest, which is very interesting. Not the best writing in the world, but good gameplay. Oh yeah, like... You have to remember, the Pokemon game that was out at the time of Stories 2, Monster Hunter Stories 2 release was Sword and Shield. Yeah. It wasn't... Well... Pokemon Sword didn't exactly capture my imagination, and it kind of left me a little bit annoyed, because the Galar region is based off of the UK, and the region that represents the country I live in, well, is in a game that's not particularly great. Yes, by the way, I am British. English specifically. But, yeah, I tried those games and they were something. Oh yeah, Sword and Shield were the last time I played Pokemon. I would say give Scarlet and Violet a go, because it does take some of the good bits of Sword and Shield and really make that the entire thing. Like, it is for one thing an open world Pokemon game, so that's something. And it actually has good writing. I don't think it's quite on the level of... Well, actually I say it might be on. In a Final Fantasy at the moment, so maybe one day. Fair enough. But Scarlet and Violet does have actually good writing. Unfortunately, not the DLC. The DLC does kind of drop the ball with the writing, in my opinion. But hey, it's largely detached from the main story in Scarlet and Violet anyway. But mostly in the camp of that Gen 5, Black and White, was peak Pokemon. Yes. I completely agree with you. They were peak. It has some really cool new Pokemon design. Well, really cool Pokemon designs. I would say it arguably has some of the best Ghost type Pokemon out of all the regions. Well, there are specific Ghost types that come close.
So I think it has some of the best writing in the entire in the mainline games, if not the entire franchise, with Space Scarlet and Violet coming up somewhat close, actually. Black and White was good, and then we moved to Black and White 2, and everything was actually there. Yeah. I actually really love that. Because they were direct sequels. It was the first time in a mainline Pokemon game they did direct sequels. So you got to see just how things had changed over the, what was it, 2-3 years time gap between them? But you really got to see how the region changed. And it was, it was gorgeous. Oh. And another thing about it, they're in a way kind of doing that with ZA. Cause Pokemon Legends ZA does seem to take place quite a few years after X and Y. And that's what has got me curious about it. I didn't try Legends Arceus, so I'm half tempted to give ZA a little. Metal was a little messed up though because Dream Catcher. Fair enough. I'm not really particularly aware of metas within competitive Pokemon. The only one I really know of was Sword and Shield, where prankster Grimmsnarl was meta for setting up light screen and reflect. And that's about it. Yeah. Pokemon metas aren't something I'm really well versed in. I don't particularly keep up with metas because I tend to not use metas unless I like a particular meta. Like, it was something I personally enjoyed using. I will say I am one of those people that plays games for fun, rather than be super competitive or something. Set with racing games, I just get competitive on those by default. Oh yeah, fun be more important. Yeah, definitely. And, well, for some people, that fun comes in all kinds of different forms. For me, it's just, do I enjoy a game? Yes. Then I'm having fun. Am I enjoying playing a game? Yes, then I'm having fun. But other people, they get their fun from optimizing the crap out of a build, and then it was an interesting stream. I have to go. I know probs know them. See you later, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. But yeah, some people like to min-max a build or a particular team comp or something, and then see the fruits of their labour unfold. And they have fun with the game that way. Some people have fun with the game by seeing just how much... Well, seeing what interesting little tricks and things they can do. And something tells me that's probably how some people probably got into speedrunning. Was like, hey, if I did that and then did that and that, I could complete this level in half the time I would normally. True. Exactly. Hell, actually looking into speedrunning is very, very fascinating. There's this one moment from speedrun that stuck with me. It was one of the Games Done Quick charity events, and in those charity events they have what is called a task bot. It's basically a program where they feed in their inputs and that, and have it speedrun, and see if they could have it speedrun a game for them. And I remember this one moment where they were having TaskBot speedrun Celeste. I will never play Celeste because I don't feel like ripping my hair out. But young me accidentally fell down Luigi's Mansion rabbit hole, and now I still use the same GameCube to do my 80% A rank runs. Fair enough. But yeah, so the moment in the Celeste TaskBot run that I remember, because TaskBot could do inputs faster than a person, they managed to gather so much speed, it somehow phased Madeline through a solid block. And my mind was blown that you could do that in a 2D game. Cause, well, I already aware that out of bounds stuff could exist in 2D and 3D games, but going so fast that you clip through a solid object? Or clip through collision like that? Task ones do be fun to watch, especially if you love the game. Exactly. Yeah. I didn't know you could just clip through objects like that in a 2D game. I know you can in a 3D game, but that's due to how 3D environments in 3D games are modeled. You only ever model the side the player is going to interact with. Usually because of certain patches or how the engine works. Exactly. But I'd never seen a 2D game have that kind of physics quirk at all. So it's amazed me, and it's one of those things that just kind of sticks in my brain for some reason. I have a tendency to remember very specific moments and very specific things. That's why I know quite a bit about gaming history and gaming trivia, because they're just little things I've absorbed from the internet or my own time playing a game that's just kind of stuck in my mind. I don't know what really causes that. It could be just the way my brain is wired. Because, my brain's wired a bit differently than the average person. But then again, I suppose everyone's brain's wired, differently in one way or another. Neurodivergent or not. Yeah, actually neurodivergent, by the way. Specifically, I have some form of autism and ADHD, which is a fun combo to deal with some days. Because, yeah, they do just kind of conflict with each other completely. To this day, I still don't know how I ended up, how I even function. But then again, there are certain things that confuse the hell out of me, that people do. And there's things I do that probably confuse the hell out of other people. I can't really fully understand how people deal with it. I just know a lot of people that have both. That's fair enough. Because, frankly, even I don't, but trying to understand is all I can do. Oh yeah, and that's sometimes all someone can do, to just do their best to understand, someone's situation. Hell, when it comes to having an opinion on things, I do try to understand all points of a particular argument if I can. But at the end of the day, as long as you're doing your best, that's all that matters. Not just with trying to understand very true. Like, and that doesn't just go for understanding different people's point of views, but just in life. As long as you're doing the best you can in a, well, and you're living a happy life, then you're doing right. Then you're doing right by yourself. I'm going all Tales of Wisdom mode again, aren't I? Yeah, I sometimes do this. If I go on talking for a while, sometimes I can just suddenly get all very introspective. But that's just part of who I am. I overthink the crap out of everything, including myself. But honestly, wouldn't have it any other way. That's fine. I always end up in these conversations. Fair enough. Yeah. Anywho, my brain has run out of conversation topics. Unless we want to spend another 3 hours talking about the Sonic Racing Crossroads open network test that started the other day.
that I may or may not spend most of the day playing. Feel weird and can be mean, but you gotta try to do some good in the world where you can, when you can. Exactly. Even if it's as simple as popping in and saying hi to someone. Sometimes that can be enough to make someone's day. Sometimes it's the little acts of kindness that make all the difference. Yeah, I think I might wrap up though. My social battery's starting to drain a bit. And my brain is starting to go into wanting to relax of an evening mode. That's fair, go yes, I understand. Yep. Haven't made the schedule for next week yet, but it will likely look something like this. The Sonic X Shadow playthrough will probably be on, well, continuing that would probably be on the Tuesday next week. Cause on the Friday you got the new Daemon X Machina coming out. So, and I plan on getting it and doing a playthrough of that one. As for Saturday, not sure. I have to figure that out later. But, as always with my schedule, I'll put it up on Twitter. Put it up on my Twitter. Which, links to that should be in the channel and the stream description. For those of you who have Twitter. I also put it on the community tab on my YouTube channel for folks that don't have Twitter. I was on there. But it's always a good idea to put on notifications so that Twitch or YouTube notify you when I'm live anyway. But just you're popping in and hanging out with me for a bit, or even popping in to say hi. That's enough for me. And y'all are very welcome to pop back in here anytime. Hope you all stay safe and have a wonderful rest of the weekend. And I will see you next week. Alrighty. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend, everybody. And I will see you next week. Good night, everybody. And have a wonderful rest of your day. See you next week.